There it goes. All right. Okay, I'm going to mute and let you start.
Thank you all for joining Gates-Chalet Septo tonight. We are very excited for our December presentation. So we usually start with just going around and introducing ourselves. So I can start. I'm Kelly Conlon. I am a parent of a little 4th grader with autism who's at Walt Disney. So this is why I've had gone to Jason and mentioned that I thought this group would be really nice in our district. And so we have spent a couple of years planning it. And so this year we are really trying to spread the word and have these nice presentations. So yeah, that is me. Heather?
I'm Heather Lang. I have a student in the middle school, and I'm also a speech language pathologist in independent practice. So I consult and contract with the district. So I sit on the Septo team kind of as a different perspective to add and problem solve, network, and hopefully provide resources for people. Tina?
I'm Tina Carney. I am a Gates-Chalet parent. I have 3 kiddos. You may hear all of them all the time because I do. I have a 5th grader, a 1st grader, and a 3-year-old. Some with special needs, some without. ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia. I am an advocate for struggling learners and have learned a lot from them and try to teach everybody I know a little bit more about them too. Thanks everybody for coming out on a Monday in December, and look forward to learning from more of you. I'm going to pass the ball to Adam.
Hi guys, my name is Adam Mateis. I work for Gates-Chalet as an autism consultant. I travel through all 6 buildings, and I'm lucky to be a part of Septo and to be here tonight. And I'm looking forward to the presentation on OT and PT input. So thank you. Nice to meet you all. Jason?
Jason DeJean. I am the Director of Pupil Personnel Services for the district, and yeah, very happy to be part of this organization as we move forward and try to give more supports for parents in the community at large. We've got a good group that has formed, and I think we're really making some good progress this year and focusing on some areas of need. So it's nice to see it all coming together. Julie?
Julie Stark, coordinator of special education for kids in 6th grade through age 21, most kids in transition at that point. Also very excited to hear from Theresa and Kerri tonight, and happy to be here and looking forward to future meetings. Danielle.
I'm Danielle Latorre, and I coordinate special education services for our elementary students. I am happy to see Kerri and Theresa presenting tonight. I get to see them work their magic in the building, so it'll be fun to hear them present tonight. Amy.
I'm Amy General. I'm the 611 intermediate teacher at Walt Disney.
Pass it to someone.
Bridget.
Hi, I'm Bridget Remillard. I teach the K-1 1211 at Paul Road School. This is my 2nd year at Paul Road and in Gates-Chalet, and I'm super excited to be part of this meeting. I finally was able to get on at the right time, all the stars aligned. So I'm excited to be here and love seeing some familiar faces and meet new people today. Sorry, I got to pass it on. How about Cindy?
Hi, I'm Cindy Wilson. I teach the 611 kindergarten through 2nd grade at Disney. And I will have to leave at 7:30 because I have a standing date to read to my grandkids every night. I'm going to pass it on to Adam.
I already went, but how about Lauren?
I'm Lauren Henderberg. This year I am the remote special ed ICT teacher for grades K through 3 for fully remote students. I've been a special education teacher for 12 years. I'm here on SEPTO as a teacher, but also as a parent in the district. My daughter does have a 504 in the middle school right now, so I am interested in the parent perspective as well. Oh, let's see. It says Jason Scott. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Rachel Scott. The link came to my husband, so it signed me in as him, but I'm Rachel Scott. I've got two kiddos, both with some special needs in 5th grade and 1st grade at Paul Road. I'm lucky enough to have had kiddos that worked with both Mrs. Doughty and Mrs. Kanada, so it's very nice to see them here tonight. And let's see. Katie, did you go? Katie Coffey? I didn't think so.
Hi, I'm Katie Coffey. I'm on the Board of Education. I have an elementary student and a middle schooler here in the district, but I'm also a 12-on-1 teacher in another district, so it's kind of nice to be able to see all the different parts. Kerri, I don't think has gone yet. Are you going to introduce yourself before you talk?
I think I'm going to do the introductions for Kerri and Theresa, right? So, so tonight we actually have a great presentation for you guys. And as SEPTO, when we're thinking about what would be a great presentation to do at this time of year, the thought was that it was a good time to present on what our students could do indoors to stay active during these colder winter months, especially with the amount of remote learning that's going on. So I put out the request to all of the occupational therapists and physical therapists in the district, and we've got a really great bunch of occupational and physical therapists in this district. We're very, very fortunate. Put it out there, and immediately Theresa, who is a physical therapist, and Kerri, who is an occupational therapist, said, "Yep, sure, we'd love to do it." So they've just decided to give us some of their time tonight and gave some of their time to create a presentation for us, which not only will they be sharing now with you guys, but it will be recorded so people can be watching it afterwards when they can. And so I'm very pleased to introduce, and they can add more if they'd like, but I'm very pleased to introduce Kerri and Theresa.
Okay. Hi, I'll go first. My name is Kerri Kanada. I've been in OT for over 25 years, which is longer than I'd like to admit, but I've worked in a variety of settings throughout my career. I've worked at Mary Carriola. I've worked in both the early intervention and preschool systems, and I've worked at 2 sensory clinics. I've been at Gates Child Eyes since 2007, and I've been primarily working at Paul Road for most of my time at Gates, and I've been working with our 12-on-1 students and other students that require OT services. I have worked at Brasser and the middle school and a tiny stint at Disney, but like I said, primarily I've been at Paul Road. I myself, I'm married for 13 years, and I have twin boys that are 10. Not only do I have like the therapist role, but my children have received services since 18 months. My one son was declassed at 5, and my other son continues to receive services to this day.
I'm Theresa Doughty. I have been with Gates Child Eyes since 2007, and I was just listening to Kerri give her story and realized that we pretty much have worked together since we started working. So I started my career at Mary Carriola. We did early intervention where I did evals and traveled all over the city, and I worked at that sensory clinic, and then took some time off when my second child was born, and then came back to work. So I've been at Gates since 2007, and I think I've worked in almost every building. I think at one point I was traveling between 4, but now I'm just between Disney and Paul Road, which means that I pretty much service almost all of the students in the 611 and the 1211 programs who receive PT. Most of those classrooms are housed in the 2 buildings that I support, so that's where I am. Mike and I have been married. We celebrated 20 years this summer, and Emma, our oldest, is a freshman at UB, And Paige is 14 and she attends the Creekside program at Monroe-Wambosies. So I too have the parent role and the big advocate role. But so tonight our goal really is just to give you an overview of some things that you can do and really sort of spark your creativity and help you realize that you already have all of the tools that you need at home. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and hope that everything goes beautifully. But you know how technology goes. All right, so Kerri, over to you.
Are you doing the first two under? Or no?
Some ideas and resources, and then our presentation is pretty short, and we're gonna play a game, and we're gonna walk you through our Schoology pages, and then you'll have time to ask us some questions. So Kerri is going to take it away. I'm gonna try to listen really closely so I click at the right time.
Okay, so we're gonna, things to remember is that all movement is good. Whether it is dancing or going for a walk or playing chase, going on the swings, or even just simple stretching, all movement is good. And it doesn't always have to have a purpose. As long as your body's moving, that's great. Gross motor helps to support fine motor skills. So when your core, which is your stomach and back, is strong, then it can then support your shoulders, which will support your elbow and your wrist and your fingers. So as things develop, you start what we call something proximal, which is close to your body. And then as you are stronger and your body develops, then you can use your fingers, which are something that we call distally. So the more gross motor movements that you have that are coordinated and stronger you are in your core and your upper body and lower body, the better that you'll have sitting posture to do your schoolwork, and you'll have better control with your hand to do your fine motor writing and stuff like that. And fun always beats function. And what I like to think about this is sometimes in therapy, I'll have a specific goal in mind, whether it be like working on handwriting or cutting, but sometimes just sitting at a table isn't fun. But if you can incorporate some fun aspects to it, whether adding movement to it prior to you sitting down, or incorporating little bits of like writing letters or words throughout an obstacle course, or even just doing something that's highly motivated, like doing stuff about Thomas the Train. I know I've done several lessons about Thomas the Train or Sonic the Hedgehog. Sometimes just adding that alone would be great. And it makes it more fun for the kids and they're more willing to participate. So first, we're going to talk about some indoor activities that you can do that are just functional, regular activities of daily living. One of the things that you can do is have your child help you with your laundry. And who doesn't like help with that? There's so many things that you can do with laundry. Not only just the whole organization of first this, then this you can work on, but you can also work on measuring if you're having them add the liquid detergent. You can work on sorting, whether you're sorting prior to putting it into the washing machine or if you're sorting and matching once they come out of the dryer. You can work on different types of concepts. You can work on top and bottom, like does this go on the top of your body or does this go on the bottom of your body? You could work on first and second, like first you have to put your underwear on and then what do you put on? So you can work on those type of concepts, or also wet and dry. And you can also, when you're carrying the basket up the stairs or from room to room, you can work on your bilateral coordination, which is using your arms together. And then also organization, like this is where the socks go and this is where your t-shirts go and stuff like that. And following directions. You can even say, okay, first I want you to get all the socks and put them in the top drawer. And then I want you to get the pants and put them in the bottom drawer. So there's all different tasks that you can do that aren't even just motor based, but are just the whole child based. Another thing that you can have your children help you do is help you carry the groceries in. Not only is that a great heavy work activity that is very organizing and calming for children, any type of heavy work, but there's lots of skills you can do with this. You can work on sorting, you know, here are the cans, here are the boxes, here are the things that go in the cupboard, here are the things that go in the refrigerator. You can work on size, arranging things by size. You can arrange things by colors. You can count, like how many, you know, cans of corn do we have in the pantry. You can also work on a list. If you want them to work on some writing, you can, you know, make a tally of how many things you have of each of their favorite snacks, or what they like. Oh, we ran out of goldfish. Let's put goldfish on our list. So those are just some quick activities that you could do with the laundry and putting your groceries away.
Okay, one of my personal favorites to do inside is to build forts. So get all of your blankets, your pillows, some sheets, and build some forts. And then you can climb in, you can climb out, you can climb around. So you're getting some motor work, but you're also incorporating some of that other cognitive piece, those concepts in and out and under and through. For kids who maybe bright light is not great, being inside the fort where it's dark and warm and quiet might be a really calming thing for kids. And then they can bring their flashlight and read, or they can draw pictures inside. So, and then creating your own obstacle courses. You know, the obstacle course is probably one of the most underrated activities because you can create anything that you want. You can create a whole obstacle course that works on balance. You can create one that works on using your hands and feet together. You can work one that is just all jumping, but you can also incorporate all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of times the obstacle courses that we use in our therapy sessions link the motor movement with some sort of cognitive piece, like we're working on colors matching, we're working on letters, or kids who, you know, maybe they're just matching words or things like that, but everything is pretty much connected to each other. And again, this is all stuff that you already have. You don't need any special equipment to do any of this stuff. You just need a little bit of time and some creativity. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on one second. It's not responding to me. There we go. All right.
Okay, next we're going to talk about just some fine motor activities that you can do. First off, on the picture is some Legos. There's tons of things you can do with Legos. You can do patterning with colors. You can build a certain structure like that looks like maybe a house, or even just a series of blocks, and you can have to see if they can match them and make them look the same. It's really good, especially the small little Legos. It's really good on finger strengthening because you can, you know, push them together and pull them apart. And then you can also just build different structures for play. You can build little, you know, a little house for the little Lego people, or you can build a corral for the little farm animals, or you can build a pathway and have their cars and trucks go through it. So there's a lot of things you can do with Legos. And then crayons. One of my favorite things is broken crayons. Some people don't like broken crayons. They think they don't work as well, or they just want to throw them out. In my opinion, broken crayons are the best because they only allow you to use these 3 fingers because they're so small, and that's helping facilitate an appropriate mature grasp. And I know a lot of our children struggle with that. Another thing you can do with coloring is putting the piece of paper that you're using, or the coloring picture that you're using, and putting it in different planes. So you could put it up against the refrigerator and have them color, and that's going to help provide some nice wrist extension that you need for when you're writing. And it also has your arm working against gravity, and you get to use more whole arm movement. So that's just an overall strengthening and coordinating motion that you can use. Another thing you can do is get a 3-ring binder, and the 3-inch ones are really good, and you can put that on the floor and have them lay on their stomach, and then tape the picture to the binder, and then they can color while they're laying on their stomach, which is another good shoulder strengthening activity. And then you can also tape it under your coffee table and have them lay under your coffee table and color in that position as well. And a lot of kids think that's super fun, but it's also a really great upper body strengthening activity. And then for some of our friends who have trouble coloring outside the lines, if you take Elmer's glue on a picture of that they want to color and you outline the black outline with glue and let it dry, that gives you a raised surface. And when the child is coloring, then when they bump that raised surface, it might give them a cue that they need to stay within those lines. And then with Play-Doh, you can practice cutting skills with Play-Doh. You can actually practice not only with scissors, but a knife and a fork and pretend that you're cutting food. And that's a nice way to practice that activity. You can use rolling pins on the Play-Doh, and you can use different things to draw. You can even use even just a quick popsicle stick, and you can use that to draw letters. You can roll the Play-Doh out to make different letters. And then it's a really good hand strengthening thing too, if you have them roll it into a snake and have them pinch it like this, or actually have them press it. And that's a nice way to strengthen your fingers and hands. And then spray bottles are another one of my favorites. That works on not only hand strengthening, but giving you the skills that you need to open and close when you're using scissors. And you could have them spray the house plants or a garden outside come spraying. You can have them wash their toys using a spray bottle. You can have them in the bathtub and have them aim for different things using the spray bottle while they're taking their bath. And when you're outside, when it's a little bit nicer on a nice sunny day, that happens sometimes in the winter, you can have them target different letters that you draw with chalk and then spray them. So that's just a quick overview of some simple things you can do at home with fine motor skills. I forgot about the puzzles. You can also just take some boxes that you have, and you can draw patterns, which are here on the right, and then cut them and then have them put them together. So you have a little homemade puzzle. So sometimes you can get a cereal box or yogurt boxes that have like SpongeBob on them and different favorite characters. And that's like just a simple way that you could create a little fine motor and visual perceptual skills for your child to work on as well.
So I wanted to give you one of my very favorite activities, and it's super simple. And all you need is a roll of painter's tape. And in this picture, you can see, I think there's only 4 lines here, but I love to have at least 6. And they're usually about 1 foot or 18 inches apart. But then you can just use these 6 lines and the kids can practice a long jump. They can run and jump. So you can measure how far they're going. You can have them hop over every line. You can have them jump over every line. And in these 2 side pictures here, like how far can you stretch your whole body? How far can you stretch your feet apart? But forward jumping, backwards jumping, jumping over 2 lines, jumping over 3 lines. So now you're talking about a ton of gross motor work, but then 2 more conceptual things. Counting 1, 2, 3, being able to measure, talking about distance. So that's just one of my, and painter's tape is awesome because you can just peel it up off of the floor. It's not going to damage anything and it's easy to remove. Our custodians really like when I use that instead of something else because it doesn't stick to the floor. But I also too, you can take painter's tape and you can create shapes on your floor and be like, you know, hop to the triangle, jump to the square. You can do anything with this. You can, one of our favorite activities last year, we took up most of our classroom and we had one big straight line down the center. And then we took another color and did some diagonal lines. And then we took a 3rd color and made like a serpentine kind of line. And then we just did a whole bunch of activities with the lines. For obviously there's a lot of balance, you know, walk on the straight line, try to keep your balance on the curved line. But then like we got a little creative and we were like, okay, take this beanbag and put it under your elbow and push it along the curved line. So we got a whole bunch of other really kind of cool motor things just with lines. So that's one of my personal favorites and I use it a lot. and I'd use it a lot at home too. All right, and then here, these are just some really cool ideas for things that you can do outside. Obviously taking your family for a hike or a walk in your neighborhood. I remember during closure, most of my activities, I think when I sent home my monthly calendar, at least one day a week was some sort of scavenger hunt or hike kind of thing. And I encourage the kids to like hike and, you know, run between every 4 mailboxes or count all of the blue houses that you see, that kind of thing. Obviously bike riding, scooters, anything like that. If we finally ever get some snow, I would take your kids sledding, have them pull you on the sled, you pull them on the sled. As you pull them, they're working on their core strength, they're working on their balance. When they're pulling you, they're working on their physical strength, and we're talking about push and pull. Building snow forts, throwing snowballs is really great. Sometimes in the classroom, we can't obviously throw snowballs, but we use beanbags and we have snowball fights. So you're working on bringing 2 hands together, catching and throwing, eye-hand coordination. If you don't have spray bottles, but you have squirt bottles, you can fill them with some water and food coloring and you can draw some art in the snow. So there's tons of things out there. And quite honestly, you know, if we get stuck, we go to Pinterest and someone else has come up with some beautiful things. So head there too. All right. So any questions so far? If you have questions so far, if you want to unmute yourself or put it in the chat bar, because we are going to play a little bit of a game. So if you have any questions that have popped up before we start that. No? Okay. I can't see everybody while I'm screen sharing. So, all right. So game time. Here we go. All right, so we're going to do 3 rounds of this game. And the first 2 rounds, Kerri and I are going to guide you through some stuff. And then for round 3, we're going to break you into 2 teams and put you into breakout rooms, and you're going to have an opportunity to work together. And then we'll come back and chat. So, all right. If you're competitive, I think you'll be good at this. And actually, if you're not, you'll probably be good at it. All right, so your first question is, you're working on balance with your 2 hands and you don't have a balance beam. Take a look around your house right now and just see if you can find or think of something that you have in your house that you would use to be a balance beam. And I'm going to stop the share just for a minute so I can see everybody. And if you can't, like I said, you can unmute yourself to share, you can raise your hand, whatever you want. So you're working on balance, you don't have a balance beam. Adam.
2x4.
2x4, perfect.
The grout lines in my flooring.
Oh, cool.
Pool noodles.
Pool noodles, a personal fave. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? How about a rolled up yoga mat?
Or towel.
Rolled up towel. Mm-hmm.
Jump ropes.
Ooh, brooms, nice. Any other good ones? Those are all the ones that I wrote down. So you guys are really good. All right. Kerri, you ready?
Okay, the next one is your child is working on hand strengthening and finger dexterity. If you guys are near your kitchen, you could look around the kitchen for something that you could use to support this. Or think of something in your kitchen you could use to support this.
Tongs.
Good, yep. Lauren?
I used to have my students rip apart the boxes after we use them, and they loved it. It was very therapeutic for everybody to just rip.
Yeah.
Danielle?
Garlic press.
Oh, nice. Like that.
An ice cream scoop, the old fashioned ones that you
Yeah. That's good.
I have a cookie scoop too. It's
That's
kind of like
good.
an old
Yeah.
fashioned
Mhm.
ice cream scoop. It's delicious.
Having them use a hand mixer, like having to grasp and hold.
Yep, and hold the bowl at the same time, so they're using both sides of their body. And the vibration actually puts a lot of good input into their hand. And actually, a lot of times, if you do something like that with vibration like that, it's a really good thing to do to wake your hand muscles up before you do writing. So that's a good thing.
One time recently, I gave my kids a manual can opener, and that was pretty fun. It was like minute to win it to see if they could figure out how to use it. Surprisingly, they did. It was pretty impressive.
They're really good ideas, you guys.
Yeah, and there's like, you can even use like the old mashed potato things, like that, the big thing that looks like a grate, and you just like do that grating. My children, I would not like grate, but there might be some kids that you would let them grate your cheese. Turkey basters are great. And they're fun if you get like the old packaging peanuts and you put those in water and use a turkey baster to like squirt the water and make them go. That's really fun. And the old applesauce makers, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can use.
All right. So our next is we were going to create breakout rooms, but I'm not seeing on here where I'm going to do this. Let's see. Kelly, do we have that possibility?
I don't know. I've never done that.
Okay.
I just have the very basic.
That's okay. It's really not, it's actually, it actually will be fine because I think we could do it without it. I think we can do it without it because our groups are small enough. But so your first is, so as two groups, that was our big plan, but you know, we're going to go with this one big group. So here we go. Your first task is to, all you have right now is a blanket from your couch. Just something like this. And we'd like you to come up with some ideas of what you could use this blanket for. Rachel.
Just today, actually, my kids were with blankets and with a yoga mat, wrapping each other like burritos, rolling each other around. And, you know, one was using the skills of actually doing the wrapping, but there was just a lot of physical movement through all of it for both of them.
Oh, and it's perfect when they get all rolled up and they're like here, you know, it's very reminiscent of being like in the womb and swaddled. So it's very, very comforting. And Kerri, I bet you remember when we used to wrap kids up in a yoga mat and then we would have to make them like army crawl out of it. And then I think somebody left his poor little jeans inside the yoga mat, like he got stuck inside, and we were like, oh, okay, maybe this wasn't a good idea. It happens.
It does.
All right, so you have this blanket. What else?
What about a hammock swing?
Yep.
My daughter likes to use it for a cape when she dances.
All right, Adam, then Lauren.
Hammock swing or some way to swing back and forth.
Yep.
Mine was very similar to Adam's, but if you had a couple people, you could get on either side and, you know, fling it up in the air down like a parachute almost. If you had a ball with the blanket, you could put the ball up and catch the ball, but you said just the blanket, so I'll go with that for now.
Yeah. Bridget?
In preschool, when I taught at preschool, we used to use a blanket and we would have the kids take turns pulling each other on it. So one would lay on the blanket and the other one would pull, and then they would take turns back and forth, and they loved doing that. So if there's a sibling at home, or if even your, you know, a parent can get on the blanket, I suppose it would be fun to do.
It's a great way to dust your floor too. Awesome. Any other ideas for the blanket? Tina?
Some forts, as you had mentioned earlier. You could roll it up. I'm envisioning, I don't know if this is going to work for my kids, but they'd probably love like a tug of war type of thing within some open area with no pointed objects, I'm sure, and no younger siblings around. And there's another game we used to play when I was a summer camp director called Jump the River. So similar to your blue tape. So you put the towel out and try to jump over the towel or the blanket to see if you can jump over it.
Theresa, I'm just picturing you and Alicia having to swing Tyler in it.
We don't even use a blanket. We just hold on to his hands and feet. He just says, "Big swing, please." And he puts his hands up and then just waits for us to respond. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Ready for the next one? Okay, what you have, I don't know if you can see it all, is just a regular laundry basket. What are some things you could do with that?
So I will say my little guy would fill that with as many stuffed animals and blankets, so he is really scrunched in it, and either be reading or on his screen time. That's like his favorite thing to decompress after his school day.
Perfect.
Kerri.
Renee, yeah.
You know that I would do categorizing, and they would have to find all the, all the pink animals or all the animals out of the stuffed animals.
Perfect.
Could even just use it for target practice, crumpled up paper and throwing in for basketball target practice.
Great. Danielle?
Pushing a sibling or heavy objects in it, depending on the floor you have.
If you have wood flooring, you can get felt and put that underneath, or a pillowcase or something, and use that, so then you're not maybe scratching your floor. However, if it is on the carpet, it is much harder, which would provide more resistance, which would provide greater heavy work and is more organizing. Just as long as it's not too hard that it becomes frustrating, and then you know how that can spiral into things.
Yes. No stairs anywhere near that. Don't want any siblings going down. Not that that ever happened.
That laundry basket, I think, was Emma's first sled, because she couldn't sit up yet. And so like we attached, I don't remember, a piece of rope to it. And I remember pulling her in the snow in the laundry basket. And I think our neighbors looked at us funny, but it worked. It kept her sitting up and she could be outside.
Lauren?
My kids actually like to, well, one of them's younger, but like to turn it over and crouch in there, have that be small with a flashlight to kind of provide that, whatever, looking at shadows, doing whatever. And then they'll ask each other to sit on it. So they'll try to push out, so they're pushing and, trying to get out as well.
A breakout room.
Exactly.
You can also flip it over if it's sturdy enough, and they could use that to climb up on and jump down and work on some of those gross motor skills. You could have them, even if it's large like the one I showed you, or the small one that I took from school that Theresa was so wonderful to get for us, but have them hold it, and you could throw like bean bags or throw those crumpled up pieces of paper, and then have them try and catch it. So it's a great upper body movement, but also a visual one that they have to coordinate their eyes and hands together to catch everything. So those are just some quick ideas that, like, your regular household items that you have laying around your house are really great to do for activities. You don't need to buy the fancy dancy, $700, crash pad or something that's in the catalog. You can actually just use the cushions off your couch and the pillows and all that stuff, and blankets and all that great stuff you already have in your house.
Theresa, you're muted.
Sorry. Next, we're going to walk you through real quick our two Schoology pages. We wanted to actually show you what they look like and show you where to find all of these resources, and just let you know that each of us will have a Septo folder coming, it's in there right now, but it won't be full probably till Friday. So give us till Friday to put in all of the stuff that we've talked about, some of the other things that Kerri and I have brainstormed on. But once you can find it, you should be able to access all of that information. If you need access to our 2 courses, please just either go through Kelly or Heather to get, I mean, my contact information and Kerri's will be at the end, but we can give you access if your student maybe isn't on our caseload right now, but we can give you access to that. So I'm going to share a screen again, hopefully. Here we go. And here we are. So, Kerri, take it away. You're muted though, huh? Kerri, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, I did the same thing. What Theresa is going to open is my Schoology page. It's called Mrs. Canada's OT Classroom for 2020 to 2021. First, you're going to find my the information form, and in there you would find a little bio about myself, maybe what some home sessions might look like if we were going to do some remote sessions, like what you would expect to see in that home session. And then just my contact information is in there. Also, for Ms. Canada's office hours, it's just a link to my office hours that I hold weekly on Wednesdays from 10 to 11. Each week, I put up at least 2 activities to do each week that work on fine motor and sensory activities. Like this week, we had Christmas yoga. That is just a couple poses that you can do, like the Christmas star and stuff like that. And then there's usually a fine motor or a visual motor activity as well. And each week after they're finished, I put them in the archives, and you could find all the activities from September on up in the archives. I also have brain gym videos. They're all the brain gym videos that we created as a district. Years ago, I was actually pregnant in these videos, but they still work on a lot of great activities. Next, I have my brain breaks, and there's a whole bunch of different brain breaks in there. There's ones that you roll a dice and you do a certain activity based on what number you get. There's different types of workouts. There's a Star Wars workout on there. There's self-regulation workouts in there. There's probably about 13 or 14. I'm currently working on trying to get ones that are actually brain breaks for calming, brain breaks for alerting. Right now, it's just a list of brain breaks, but I'm trying to organize that a little better. I also have how to maintain good posture at school and at home. And there's different worksheets up there that show you different ways you can have better posture at when you're doing remote learning at home as well as at school. I have a little folder for my pencil grasps and different ideas how to facilitate a better pencil grasp. And then I also have a little folder on handwriting and different pre-writing activities and different multisensory activities you can do to encourage handwriting. And then there's the Septo folder that Theresa had talked about, and we just have a couple things in there. We have 6 pages of household items and different activities to go with those household items, and just a bunch of information on top of things. There's recipes for all types of things. There's Play-Doh, puffy paint, sand. I mean, you name it. There's a bunch of recipes in there as well. That's all safe. So if any of the children put it in their mouth, it will be safe for them. So it's non-toxic, and it's all made with household ingredients and stuff like that. And then we'll just have a bunch of other information as well in there.
Okay. So if you, once you have access to the PT course, the picture looks like this. This would be my dream therapy space right here with rock wall and all kinds of stuff right there. And then you just click in here, very similar to Kerri, you know, welcome to PT, contact information, office hour links, that kind of stuff here. And core strengthening, we've got exercises, animal walks, and all of this stuff is things that you can open up. If you feel like printing things out at home, that's available to you, but you can always just open it up and access it. Fun family activities. There's links to YouTube videos. There's Go Noodle. There's obviously some yoga, things like that is in there. The resources for the at-home materials I created for my kiddos who are mostly remote or not attending in-person classes. I sent home whole packets of stuff with them, and I sent them bubbles and dice and a bouncy ball and a ring of laminated exercise cards. But like, this is one of the examples, like, here's all of the things that you can do with bubbles. And I mean, if you have young children, almost always you have bubbles somewhere, or you can create them with Dawn and vegetable oil, I think it is. But you can just pop them with your feet. You can poke them with your finger. You can be doing some of that balance stuff and working on the things with the bubbles. So there's things for bubbles, there's things in there, all of that. But everything is here. Rolling dice activities. If you have a die from a game, you have access to anything. You can have them roll a number and you do this, roll this and do that, like, great things. And then here we are, your Septo folder. But all of that is at your fingertips right here. And again, all we need to do is give you access. So we can do that. All right, so that is that. Let me just double check that. I think I had a couple more slides, but I don't think they were to Q&A. And I will put, I will share this slide with you though, because it is our contact information. All right. But if you want to just quickly jot that one down, but that has our email and phone numbers, extensions at our buildings. But again, this is being recorded, so if you miss all of this, you can find us. Kelly knows where to find me. All right, so questions and answers. I don't know if I have any answers, but you can ask questions.
Thank you for all the ideas. Like, it just was really wonderful, especially using the household things that we already have, as I feel like we've been stuck in our house for almost a year now. And it's really helpful to just get other ideas or another perspective of, well, like, just flip it over or turn it or use your imagination and just see what happens and let the kids kind of lead in some ways too. So thank you for inspiring me and others who watch too. This was really, really great.
Good. So there's a question in the chat. If you don't have to be receiving PT and OT in order to access the resources, could we have a list of providers by school? Of course, you can have the list of providers by school, but if you want access to what Kerri and I just showed you, all we have to do is give it to you. So just reach out and we'll make sure that you can get into that. Mm-hmm.
I have a question, ladies. So the kids that you do see in the classrooms, are they automatically linked up to your pages already? Okay, so I wouldn't need to share any additional information for the kiddos that you already service.
Yeah, so anybody that receives direct OT or PT has links to our pages, and like Kerri's linked to mine, I'm linked to hers. So we can access all of that stuff that way too. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to share the information with families, but if they're already linked, then maybe I'll just make message to say, hey, check it out. It's really great.
That would be cool, because I don't know how many of them actually know that that's there, even though like we've sent it out. But I think it's just, I think technology is kind of overwhelming right now. So I think a couple more clicks, even though it's great at the end of the tunnel, like getting in there to find it is like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I think I know with my families, because the young age group, we don't use the Schoology pages as much for like our hybrid or the on our Wednesday home days. So I think I would just like to remind families to check it out, because there is a lot of great information. And if they're already automatically linked to those courses, they just have to pull up their kids' Schoology page, which is great. So thank you.
And I'm not sure, like every time we add something, I'm not sure if they're alerted. I have looked, because there is a button you can look to see if anyone's accessed your page, and there have been a few students that have. I'm thinking it's more the parents that did, but there have been a few, but I'm not quite sure when I put it in generally if it alerts them or if I have to specifically assign the child. So
Kerri,
I'm not quite sure.
It doesn't alert them when you put something in unless you put it in as an update. If you put it in as an update, it generally goes to an email that says,
Okay.
hey, check this out. There's some new material.
Good to know. Thank you very much.
I just want to share, I do home visits primarily. I'm in some preschools and daycares, and I don't have this situation there, but in the homes I'm going into, I'm sensing that a lot of behaviors or parents saying, oh, they're restless today or whatever, is a result of they're not getting outside enough or opportunity in the house appropriately for large motor movement. I wonder if it would be helpful for teaching staff, maybe at the beginning of each winter break. Now we're going into the holiday, then again in February, to send out a reminder of these exercises that are available, because they don't realize it, but so much of it's related to hydration and not enough movement, or a balance between movement and sleep, rest. They're either overtired or and so I see a lot of stuff in homes where they're just not doing enough of that movement play.
Yeah.
Play has become very centralized and and I try to incorporate it into therapy within the session, 30 to 45 minutes, even by laying on the floor, pushing up on our arms, a lot of cutting. Today we were doing sewing and things like that, but you can only get so much of the big motor in on some of that. So I think it would be helpful. And thank you.
This is where we all like look at each other and say, who's going to ask any other like last minute things, or I don't know.
I'm surprised you didn't mention yoga.
I snuck it in there just a little. Just a little. Yeah. Just a little.
Well, thank you both so much. This was very helpful, I think.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah, and reach out anytime. You have our contact information, whether your child is in our buildings or not, even if you're looking at like maybe some of your younger 3-year-olds or whatever, or, we're always there to throw out at least some information or some ideas.
We could put the contact information and maybe a teaser of an activity on the SEPTO page, and maybe you'll get some parents investigating through that or inquiring and exploring.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Nice work, Kerri and Theresa. Thank you very much for taking your time to not only develop the presentation, but to come here tonight and present to the group. Greatly appreciated. You did an excellent job.
Sure, thanks.
Feel free to refer any of your parents back through SEPTO, and we'll keep this continual loop going.
Yep. Yeah. And January 21st, we will have our next presentation. Jason, is there a title for that?
a working title at this point. No, but it will be, the PPS administrators are going to be talking about our roles and responsibilities within the district, just to give a broader sense of who we are and what we do.
Thank you all. Happy holidays. Stay safe, stay healthy, and Happy New Year.
Thanks.